I mean, come on already. There we go. Okay, good morning and welcome to Ag Talking Raw, where I talk raw about agriculture and other things that are on my mind. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Okay, so I'm in the frozen fields of Croton, New Jersey. What a pain in the ass. Anyway, yeah, take my four-wheel drive off. I'm heading out onto the road. I have baled 80 almost. What goes I bailed? I bailed 80 bales, 79 bales actually. Heading on to the next piece of property, which will be fine. But we're going to talk a little bit about our new Congress member, a certain one, and I I really am amazed that this person got elected. This is a New York senator. Her name is Chavez. Last name Chavez. Um, she has come up with in conjunction with another new senator. They're going to get right on this, conversion of America to the socialist standards that we need to be at. And she has come up with a bill, and it is called the new the, the new Green Deal. The new Green Deal. And basically, what I understand of the new Green Deal is that it basically gives people that are out of work, which we already have social programs for those, and or people that do not feel that they need to work or can't work because they don't want to work. Whatever they need in this life. It is the new Green Deal, which is the equalization of to bring equality to all social classes, which in reality isn't bringing equality to all social classes. It is destroying the fabric of America. Because if I'm going to get the same pay as, say, Steve Jobs, to equalize everybody. Even if I got one, of course, Steve Jobs is dead, but, we'll just use Steve Jobs as an example here. Steve Jobs was a multi-millionaire, multi-billionaire. He was the co-founder of Apple Computers. And God, I hope the weight limit on this bridge is more than 5 tons. Um, so if I had his pay, what is the weight limit on this bridge? I don't know. It just says one lane bridge. Isn't that amazing? Doesn't have a weight limit. Okay. Let's cross the little weight limit bridge. Holy fuck. You do realize I'm crossing this thing with like 60,000 pounds of metal. Anyway, yeah. So I want that pay. Okay? That's what I want. I want what Steve Jobs has done, and I don't want to do a fucking thing. That's right. So that's basically what that new Green Deal is about. Shocking. Just plain shocking. Yeah, that isn't going to work. So if this thing gains any traction in the Senate, it's or in the in our congressional with our congressional leaders, then there's really something wrong with America with our leaders, and we need to vote these idiots out. And the stupid thing is that this broad, I mean, she's cute young girl, last name Chavez, probably closely related to Hugo Chavez. And Miss Chavez is thinking that this is a good idea for America. Just take a look at Venezuela and what's going on there now, what has been going on there since 1999, and the new deal that those people have been force fed. There's no new deal there. It sucks. And I'm thinking that I might be in some wet ass ground here. I'm going to pull out of that spot. Not too bad. Not too bad. I see water. That's why I'm a little worried. Um, so socialism has no place in the United States, even though we do have an overabundance of social programs like uh, Socialized medicine. We all know that that ain't working very well. Obamacare has cost more lives than it has saved, in my opinion. And I have to say, in my opinion, because honestly, I know too many dead people that were on Obamacare, and the quality of the doctors that we have now versus the quality of doctors that we had before we had Obamacare. Um, we've lost a lot of really good doctors. We have this healthcare system now that's it's social medicine. They want to make it all single payer insurance, like Medicare for all. Well, Medicare for all doesn't work because guess what? You don't have free medical care. Medicare doesn't cover everything. You know, I have I don't want to call them elderly parents, but my parents are in their 70s now, both of them. And they are on Medicare. Medicare, you have to have a supplement in order for Medicare to pay for everything. And there's too many, oh God, there's, ooh, that didn't sound good. There's, there's just there's supplements. You don't get paid everything. There's too many rules that you have to follow to qualify for Medicare. And if you miss a deadline, you lose part of your pay or part of your coverage, and you can never get it back. My mother was dealing with my sister's death when she was applying for her Medicare, and guess what? Guess what? She lost her reduced prescriptions, reduced prescription because of my sister dying of cancer. And of course, the lovely people at the government office that are also eager to help us all, they said, too bad. You missed the deadline. Too bad. We don't care that your daughter was dying of cancer. We don't give a shit. Why should we care? You should have been on top of it. If you didn't know what was going on, you should have paid somebody. That kind of an attitude. So there you go. And that's the government, and that's what they want us to do. Those people do not ever. And that woman that is touting that label is running for president. I can't remember her name, but she was one of the ones that stood like this or sat like this at the State of the Union address. Now, I've talked about the State of the Union address, and somebody gave me $5. Thank you very much for that. I've talked about the State of the Union address, and I actually made a video about it the next day, and it was to be posted on this one. It got rejected from YouTube. The title was the State of the Union. That's what my title was, and YouTube rejected it. So I just let it lie. I didn't even bother. It wasn't uploadable. I tried to upload it 3 times and it just said rejected. So somewhere in Gobble My Balls, it got rejected because, well, let's face it, they don't want people to have a positive opinion about the president. But basically, what I said about the president was that I think that I think that Donald did a good job of his speech. It was a little long-winded, but there's one thing that I really didn't like that Donald had said. Okay, and I'll tell you the good and the bad. I think Donald needs to lay off of the all about me kind of a thing. Me and my administration. Me and me and me. If it wasn't for me, this country would be in the toilet. Well, the country's still in the toilet. It's been in the toilet for quite some time. But you know, lay off the me and my. And I actually wrote to the President of the United States. Yes, I did. I sent him an email, and I even filled out a couple of surveys. And in those surveys, they have a questionnaire, and it asked me, "What do you think the president should or should not do during his speeches?" And all I can say is, stop saying it's all about me. I mean, because you know what? I understand that you want to take credit for it, but be more humble. Credit will come to the humble. You will always be criticized for saying that you did something, and they'll pick you apart. But if you're humble, they will say, "Oh, by the way, this guy actually did this." Not don't have to point it out to be great. Actually, the greatest men in the world are the most humble men in the world. So there you go. Men and women. I should say women too, because I know some humble women that that just, the most beautiful woman I know lives in my house. And I tell her all the time, and she's like, I'm not that beautiful. She's gorgeous. To me, she's beautiful, inside and out. She can be a pain in the ass, but you name a man or a woman that's not a pain in the ass. So, but anyhow, that's just the way it is. Hell yeah. So, anyway, with the State of the Union, if you look at the women, the people that sat in that audience, right now the military's pissed at Donald Trump. You could see that in their body language. Okay? You could see it. They sat there like this, they talked amongst each other, and they only clapped a couple of times. All right? They did not want to give them a standing ovation because guess what? Well, they're the military. The military wants to do what? They want to fight. That's their job, to fight. Unfortunately, we are not the police of the world. We don't need to be the police of the world. I stand behind my president when he says we need to leave Syria. When they say that Syria will be overrun by other, well, the Syrian people need to take control of their land. Yeah, Russia's in there. Fuck Russia. Russia wants to fuck it up. Let Russia drop the ball. Why do we have to? Why do we have to be the police of the world? We don't. So I'm all for it. The military, yes, I love my military. I think they're great. They do the job they're told to do, they do it efficiently. The worst thing about our military is when politics get involved and they shut down our military, they weaken it. We can have a very strong military, and I'm all for spending money on military and making them strong. But when we don't need, when we're not fighting somewhere, which hasn't been for the last 20 years, we've been fighting endless wars for 20 years. And the only reason we're fighting endless wars is because our politicians profiteer from them. They're profiteers, they profit from them. So, as long as they're profiting from wars, we will have endless wars. Now, there you go. Yeah, John McCain profited from everything from the Gulf War right on up to the day he died. And now his family is profiting from these conflicts that we are in. Of course, they want to stay in conflict. Because you know what? When you're in conflict, there's money to be made. I've got a young lady here that's waving to me. I need to keep my ass moving. I got no bail on the back. I don't want to run over their dog. So, just give me a minute here. It's an Asian woman. I don't know who she is, but she's got her dog and she seemed pretty happy about it. Just all right. So I guess I've talked about politics long enough. So a lot of people are asking me if I've got how long before I get hay made. Let's see, John McCain is friends with George Soros. No kidding. No kidding. There's another one. Cortez, not, yeah, you're right. Cortez, not Chavez. What's the difference? Cortez, Chavez, they're just socialist people. Cortez. I can't read and drive. I'm on the road, actually, but yeah, so I kind of got to be careful. Anyway, yeah, Miss Cortez. Amazing. All right, so here we go. This is Mudhole City here. Okay, yeah. People are asking me how much hay I've got made. I've got a lot of hay made. I'm closing in on 9,500 bales for the year, and of that 9,500 bales, I might be there now. Close to 9,500 bales. Of those 9,500 bales, 1,150 some odd of them are 4x4s. Yep, I actually tripped my stuffer. Anyway, it's kind of wet, Oh, it's the fucking park ranger. Actually, that's the state of New Jersey. You know what that is? That's a county park ranger. Anyway, I've got closing in on 9,500 bales for the year. Yeah, I should have had somewheres around 14,000. I still got about 1,000 bales to make out there right now, and I really need to do that. 1,000 bales is somewheres around 750 tons, 800 tons, 750 tons. Between 7 and 800, let's go there. 7 and 800 tons. You're looking at $80,000 worth of material still out there. That's a lot of money. As a matter of fact, that's the profit end of it. I'm a little worried. I'm not worried. I'm a little worried. I'm not completely worried. I usually do get my bills all paid by the end of the year, but with $80,000 worth of hay laying out there when it should have been close to $200,000 or more in my pocket, uh, is what it is. Got to do what you got to do. So, anyhow, yeah, will I survive? Yes, I'm going to survive. The straw contract that I have will put me over the top. I will survive. I will have everything that I need to have at the end of June and into July. So say the middle of July, I'll have everything. I'll have everything that I need. Yeah. So I can't read. If you're typing stuff, I can't read. So, of course, I've got lots of questions on my corn. What am I going to do about this corn? Am I going to be able to grow this corn? Who's going to take care of the corn while I'm away? What's going to happen with the corn, the corn, the corn? Am I going to buy a new corn planter? Am I going to buy a new corn head? Am I going to buy, am I going to spend millions of dollars to grow corn? The answer to that is no. I'm going to grow corn. I'm going to grow enough corn to cover the fields that are petered out, and I'm working on 2 more pieces of property that are hay, and they're not mine, but the people that are farming them have not made them in 2 years, and it just looks to me like I need to take that ground off their hands. So I'm going to take that ground off their hands. Am I going to be called an asshole for it? Yes, I will. I will be an asshole for it, but I don't care. You know, sometimes Sometimes you got to do things that are a little bit, you know, unorthodox or evil or whatever. If I don't take the ground, I know somebody that's already looking at that ground and they're going to try and take it before I do. The ground is very close to my home. I'm going to take it. I am. I'm going to contact them and, I'm going to just extend my hand out to that's ugly. Leslie, you're in ugliness. You are in it. Get out of it. I can't believe I'm not going to the axles on that one. Anyway, yeah, so that corn. All right, this person is contact. Okay. 277 different. What is that? 277 different. Obviously, one. So this is the only farm. Yeah, farming community. Anyway, yeah, so anyway, the online farming community, right? All right, so the corn's going to get in the ground. I found a guy that had a corn planter, but it was too far away, and for the amount of money, I think I'm just going to use my little 4-row corn planter to plant this corn. I've done this before. It works okay. I'd rather run an 8-row or a 6-row, but if I get an 8-row corn planter, I can still use my 4-row and I can find an 8-row corn head someplace. But I'd rather settle on a 6-row if I was going to do that. But I don't need to spend any more money on equipment. My 4-row corn planter just needs a little TLC before it goes to the field, but for the most part, it's okay. New Keaton seed firmers and a little bit of work on the fertilizer boxes, which I'm not going to be using. The fertilizer boxes are not going to be used this coming year. There's no need to use it. I've got the compost, and I'm going to use liquid nitrogen. But if I do use a in-row fertilizer, I don't think I need to do it. I just don't. I don't need to. And I used to put 250 units of 250 pound of 12, 20, 10, 24, 24, 10, 12, 10, 24, 24. I forget what the hell that analysis was now. It's been so many years. But anyway, yeah, I just don't need to use them. I got enough fertilizer that'll be in the row, that'll be in the ground that I don't need it. But I don't need a, well, what I'm going to grow on this ground, I got some really cool information from an agronomist down in the Carolinas here the other day when I was down there. I didn't tell anybody I was going, but I did, and he's turned me on to something. And I actually spoke with another fella out in Illinois, and he said that he was at a meeting just recently where they were talking about this and how it's actually it's cheap and it does has a lot of benefits to it for the amount of money that it is. And I will not be sharing that information on my channel, and I'm not even going to post what I'm doing with it when I do it. But we'll see the results in the end, and then maybe I'll share that information there. But it's something that is done on a very limited scale, and it actually surprises me. But it's done on a limited scale, but it's known. It just isn't used widely because people don't believe that it's a possibility. But I do know a little bit about the material because I used to use it for a very different purpose, and it worked very well. And yeah, so it's something that it's like my secret weapon in the use of mulch hay, or spent mulch, spent substrate out of the mushroom barns. So yeah, beautiful. I hope it works. If it doesn't work, I won't. I'll just say it right on there, and I'll tell you what it is, and I'll tell people don't fall for it. But I'm pretty sure it's going to work because this guy is using it down there, and it works. He uses it for two different purposes. So, oop, jammed up, baby. God damn, that's weird. It's like this stuff has still got some frost in it. A lot of plowing vid coming up. Not mole. I don't think I'm going to do any moldboard plowing. I'm just going to do chisel. And yeah, I'm going to do chisel plow. I'm going to chisel plow. I need a bigger chisel plow though. And if I put the small chisel plow behind this thing, it's just going to be like, woof. I put on 7810, 7530, 7810 or whatever. That pulls it really well. 7530 pulled it really good. So like really, really good, really good, really deep. And even the disc arrow. I mean, my disc is 22 feet. Could be. I would love to make it bigger, but whatever. Uh, I keep pounding these bales out. I'm gonna have over 100 bales here today, which is nice. Which will be nice. Oh, so I never did finish saying about my hay and how many bales of hay I've made. What I wanted to talk about in my hay is that I actually have enough hay baled now to carry me into June, up to June, with the current rate of hauling out. So it'll be good till June. So anything that I get from here on out, uh, because I'm hauling out bales a week. I'm hauling out quite a few a week. But I have, let's say, I got 10 weeks under tarp right now, and I've just baled in the last month. I've baled another another 50 or so loads, which is another month. So yeah, I'm doing pretty good. I'll be okay. So I should be able to just head right on into June with what I've got. Right into June. Ooh, we are in the water. As long as I don't get into the mud, I don't mind breaking through ice. It's the springs that'll get me here. So yeah, so I should be able to go right into June with my hauling hay. I should be okay there. I don't know who that is. They got a snowplow on and they're like parked in the middle of the damn road. But that's okay. I don't know what they're up to. Maybe they're just watching me. Who knows? I'm like the most watched guy around. It's in the middle of the winter time, and just tied a knot. It tells me I got a broken string. If it ties a knot and I go out of the windrow, it'll lay those tensioners right down onto that. So yeah. Anyways, I guess I've said just about everything I want to say. I'm going to push my fields to grow 180 to 200 bushels to the acre. That's where my goal is 175, but if I push them to that number, I should be just fine. It should be okay. I do have one more little thing here. Well, I'd like to know who in the hell that is, but I got to go out and around and over there. Oof. Anyway, sink that baler. Just sink it. And then I'm going to get out of here. I'm kind of concentrating on what I'm doing, so anyway. I think I've said just about whatever I wanted to say. As far as I'm hoping to get this bale to fall the heck off, because I don't want to lose it going down that damn road. And I'm going to lose that son of a bitch on the damn road. If I don't, I'm going to have to go. Oh, she fell. That's good. Anyway, I got to go. I got somebody who wants to talk to me.